You like Ike, I like Ike, everybody likes Ike.
The way that candidates communicate with voters tells us a lot about the politicians, but also about ourselves.
This is Senator John Kennedy.
President Johnson.
Jimmy Carter.
So it's an amazing lens on American culture and on American politics.
This time, vote like your whole world depended on it.
The biggest difference in ads that we see today is really in the editing. Today, we have a much faster pace. They splice different images together. There's much greater sophistication in the production that lies behind contemporary ads.
Eisenhower Answers America.
The first presidential election where TV ads played a role was 1952. Dwight Eisenhower pulled together footage from press conferences and basically had Eisenhower answering America.
This historic moment is brought to you by Citizens for Kennedy.
1960 is really considered the first television election. That was the first election where we had TV debates between Kennedy and Nixon. Ads also were seen as very prominent because it was a way for Kennedy to basically contrast his youthfulness with Nixon's experience.
They understand what peace demands.
1964 was a very interesting election in that it featured a lot of attack ads. There is a famous ad called the Daisy ad. Incumbent President Lyndon Johnson had a little girl in a meadow pulling petals off of a daisy, and in the background you have the countdown, and at the end of the ad there's a nuclear explosion.
9, 8, 7.
By today's standards, it seems remarkably tame because we've seen a lot more vicious and personal attacks on individuals. But when that ad aired, it actually only aired once on network television. The public outcry was so strong that Johnson took down that ad and never aired it again. In the 1960s, television ads became more negative, and observers started to worry about ads becoming too manipulative. And then in the 1970s, people really just played to cynicism.
Jimmy Carter's candidacy is truly of the people and for the people.
I don't think there were big production value changes at that point in time. I mean, the editing starts to get a little more sophisticated, but nothing compared to what we saw in the 1980s.
It's morning again in America.
Reagan was a game changer in terms of TV advertising. Everything had to be just right. So Reagan put together an ad called Morning in America that basically showed the sun rising and the country doing better economically. All of these things combined to make for a very effective ad.
Dukakis on crime.
I've been studying ads for over 20